And I want to talk about time or the lack of time. I think time is a big part of this. Like, time is a big part of why we suffer so much because there's a lot of complexity that arises. So, like, when time is kind of disappearing, or you can't believe it as much as if there is like a solid future, then all the ways that you kind of motivated yourself to push through or build a life for yourself, a better life. Um, Ways in which you encourage yourself, like all these belief structures, like you have limited time or got to make your life worth it, or yeah, and all this pressure that builds up to make it seem like we need that thing, we need to fulfill that thing in order to make this life worth it. Um, it's strange how that's what everyone is saying. Like the person is living in time. That's how they function, or they are time. So that's like the common narrative that's out there. And so when you stop believing that, when you stop living that way, the sort of reverberations of that can still exist and it can weigh heavily on the body, or it can feel like the opposite, like you're sort of a failure, or like, who am I if I'm not trying to achieve that thing? Or it kind of has the negative effect of it. So you might feel more discouraged or dissatisfied or let down. Um, like this dream that was in existence is now seen as maybe that's not going to come true. Maybe it was never going to come true. Maybe that idea was just an idea that would have perpetuated itself constantly. And what's actually here is always kind of missed. And so there was kind of a period where the body felt a lot more exhausted and tired, and it was difficult to do things. It was difficult to even do the basics because I wasn't able to motivate myself in the old way. Um, Something was depleting, something was diminishing, like this old way of functioning. And in a way, I just had to learn how to live here with this, with the exhaustion, with the tiredness, with the sometimes it was a feeling of I'm kind of done. Like I don't think that there's anything else to live for. I'm not trying to strive for anything. I don't need to achieve anything, and I feel done. Um, but living still happened, and it still felt Like I was just going about things just for the sake of it. I wasn't really getting anything out of it. There wasn't a push and pull. There wasn't a flavor to life in the same way. The excitement and the loss. The roller coaster was kind of diminishing, the success and the failure. And then it was just this. And I also think when the body goes through something like that, there is a death that's happening. So there could be thoughts of like, I don't want to be here, or um, like, what's the point? Or, yeah, like there was kind of a repetition of that stuff here. And then it just stopped. And I could tell that that was the death of the sense of time. Like time didn't exist anymore. There wasn't a lived sense of progression within time. And I could feel like that's the freedom that was really longed for. But the person can never get it. It's the absence of time and me that reveals that there is no actual time, that there is no actual progression to anything. So there was a moment where I kind of just walked into my room and I saw my computer and I just saw the room. I didn't really know what it was, but there was just a sense of like, this is enough. This is what it feels like when things are just enough. There's nothing more that's needed. I didn't even know what I was looking at really. I just say computer as a description, but it was just a sense like, this is it. And this takes everything. All of your fears will be shown to you. All of the little, but what about this? Or can't I just have this? Or all of it will just arise here and there to show itself. And it's beautiful. It's okay. The fears are finally able to just be here, to be seen clearly. So I think that's why I say then it becomes obvious that everything's sort of just to make the body feel safe. Everything. And it's very innocent. Like, of course, why wouldn't the body want to feel safe, you know? It's just a basic need. So then it's nice to just see that, life just sort of continues, not really in time anymore. It's still used practically, but there's no lived sense of time. And things are done, and you don't really get anything out of anything, really. You don't lose anything either. It just happens because it happens. And it's like a new way of functioning because I couldn't have imagined that things would still happen without this feeling of I'm getting something from it. I'm doing it for this reason. I'm doing this to add to myself or add to my life. There's none of that anymore. Yeah. And it's nice to just see how the body functions, like without this deep fear of just this deep fear. It's largely just okay. If something happens, if it doesn't, it's okay. Either way, doesn't really matter. And so you've basically died before the body dies. So it's already complete. It's already okay. Nothing needs to happen. Nothing needs to change. Um, it doesn't feel like there's any fear of the body dying anymore. I'm not saying that fear won't arise like in the moment when it's dying. I don't know. I don't really care. But there's no lingering underlying fear that I'm living on top of anymore constantly. Like it was a constant before. And I also kind of remember feeling like you you do become asleep to what everyone else is awake to. You stop registering a lot of things. It's not your reality anymore. Doesn't make sense anymore. And then what is just is, which everyone else is asleep to. They're not, they don't have access to it, or it's not perceived, I guess. But that's the only thing here. And then, so in that interim where you're kind of transitioning, it makes sense like why friendships would fall away, why interests would fall away, why everything you did to fill your life, like a lot of it can soften and fall away. I'm not saying it can't come back in a more neutral way, uh, but it definitely won't come back to the extent that you were entertaining things before because you were getting a lot from it. A lot of stories were around it, a lot of beliefs and ideas. And that excess energy just isn't here anymore. It's kind of gone. So, yes, this is the strangest thing you will ever go through. It is the hardest thing you will ever go through. Um, it becomes easier over time, though. Kind of get used to it. And you kind of see like it can be really nice to, like, you just see things a lot clearer in so many different ways. And um, could be a real niceness to it as well. But it is really hard to sort of um, wish this on people because, like, you know what it takes. It takes everything. And then, it's really beautiful on this side. It's not really registered in the same way that you would think, but it's just like this is peace. You're just living and it's just largely peaceful. Um, but yeah, you lose everything. But that said, sometimes the mind will try to imagine what it's going to lose and how it's going to be, and that's never how it's really like. You can never know in that way. You can't predict it in that way. You kind of just have to see, because I can sense there's no relationship anymore, but from the outside, like my relationship with my mom, for example, is like 1,000 times better. There's no heaviness. I'm very honest. I just say what's sort of on my mind. I get agitated when I'm agitated, and there's no suppressing anything. There's no underlying story that's kind of brewing underneath, and um, there's none of that. There's just lightness. I joke a lot, and I can see that it affects her. Um, I can't hold grudges. I can't hold anything. Um, and there isn't a retaining of like, oh, this relationship is so great. There's no retaining of that either. There's just like staring at this body that I don't know what I'm looking at, and it's kind of like in awe that it's chewing, and it's just strange. And there's like a cuteness or something, and an enjoyment, I guess, of just like staring at I don't know what. It's not my mom chewing. I don't know what I'm looking at. And it's um I guess all the constructs of everything I thought that was, it shattered. It's not a solid thing anymore. It's not a knowable thing. So there's an understanding on her side. She didn't lose anything. She didn't lose her daughter. If anything, the relationship has probably improved for her, I'm guessing. But to me, I did lose everything. I did lose my mom. I did lose that relationship. Now I don't know what that is. It doesn't exist in that way. And it's so beautiful because there's no improvement of the relationship. There's no, oh, we've gone backwards and now we have to make amends, or there is no story like that. Yeah. I don't know if I'm describing it well or fully, but that's kind of the sense that's here. So you're welcome to raise your hand if you'd like to interact, and just feel free to express what's going on there. Hey, Ramon.
Hey Suzanne, how are you?
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Um, I'm just gonna let myself just sit for a second.
Yeah, take all the time you need.
Okay, thank you. I kind of relate to what you mean by like not knowing what you're looking at when it's people you know or love. And that beauty, it's like it's so strange because it's like the body knows. like just such a familiar energy and like such a familiar patterning and like you grew up, but like then, like I said, there's this perspective that I don't know. It's like you see the almost like the animal-like tendencies of the human and like the I studied anthropology and so like I've always kind of taken like a look at humans in a more of like a scientific way or like a more like organized way, less based in like individual behavior and so I don't know, I just related to that.
Yeah, nice.
Um it's crazy because like each day I wake up, all I have to do is now just receive what is. Like there's not really many conditions here, I'm finding, in terms of, oh, is this awakened behavior? Is this not awakened behavior? And so I think if like people saw my life now, they would be like, how dysfunctional, like, what about these certain addictions? What about these certain patterns? But like there's just no one there anymore. I can't. And in a way, it's like I can't muster up shame for it anymore because like I totally just understand what this body has been through. It's like how could it not just want to soothe, you
Mm.
know, and just
Oh,
like take care, you know? So it's a place of stagnancy with certain things, but then it's like just receiving. And in a way, the energy it takes to like try to stop is almost like lost because then now you're just all the energy is just to receive this or at least try to. Um,
yeah, that's so well described.
and then like when I'm talking to like my coworkers and stuff, like all like it's like this unknowable mercy. It's not a personal mercy anymore. Um, but it's more of like all I see is the exact same wound in every single human. And it's like this just really vulnerable, scared. I don't know if you can hear it like outside. I'm sorry.
No, I can't hear anything.
Oh, perfect. It's a super vulnerable, scared, awkward, at times kind of disgusting to look at this vulnerability, and it's we all have it, and it's like gross, like gross. I don't understand. Like it's so sad how like even the ones that you're looking up to, working for, pe the people who are paying you, like your people you're making, they're all having this exact same, just like I just picture it like a baby, like just like flailing around, like it's the same energy.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can I take this shit seriously? You know? Um, yeah, there's just so much space for here. Like it's just oriented around this experience now. And yeah, from a young age, I've always known there wasn't a me, you know, because I I always had a sense of lost in identity because I was um internationally adopted and then like that I was 2 years old when I came here, and then like I always had a bit of identity crisis because my parents are from like a my biological family is from a really like remote country that no one's ever heard of. So like growing up, I never was around people like me or those sorts of things. So there's always been like less of a sense of me here, you know? Um, maybe it's why I think it just got super easy when like the message came up because it was something I had already resonated with. Um, But yeah, Suzanne, it's just like so strange seeing just this vulnerability like in everyone, including myself.
Yeah.
Um, What's been taken away from me though is just like the hope. Because yeah, and I mean this is the hope. Like it's already is the hope in a way, but like yeah, the hope is gone. Like it's like this like the wound is the being. Like that is this. And unless you identify with that like flight or fight, sensory, wanting to protect myself, yeah, it's just gonna be hard. It's just gonna be hard, you know.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And I think we just underestimate how much the nervous system goes through on a daily basis. Like just getting the body up, taking breaths, making food for yourself, which, like I said, happens here sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. Like all of these things, like already are so much energy.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
And I had a revelation last night. Like I was talking about like to my friend, like some of like how rich people are like um dodging tax brackets, and I was talking to my friend about like certain ways and how it's happening, and I'm like, it's not that it's evil, like in a way it's like understandable and with their wound or where they are, but like it's not that I don't resonate because I don't see it as objectively bad. It's because it just takes up so much energy. It's just like, how do you have the energy to like make all this money? Try to keep it, try to maintain it, try like, and as bad as that sounds, like maybe that sounds like a little like that's where it's
No,
like I can't resonate with that, like that's what it is. All of these things are just so much energy.
totally.
I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
tired. And it's such a stark difference from like where I was, let's say 6 years ago as a devout Catholic. But in a way, it's so similar. I don't know. Like some of the stuff that I was like doing, it kind of like it's like, why do I get the same feeling from this uh in a certain way? But then it's so different in so many other ways. Like just dogma is gone, you know, right and wrong and like how it should be. Um, yeah, like and so I like really got into like my identity and stuff when I was like getting out of high school, like super into my culture uh in Tajikistan, and then like I had come out and I was super like out about like my sexuality, and like that place was coming from wanting to be accepted around me, but like it's so sad like seeing that go, and it's left this summer like when Pride Month happened this year and like all my friends are asking me to go and all these things were happening. It's just like it's heartbreaking to see me not believe in it anymore. It's not that I think like separate from it or it's not that, but it's just yeah, it's like there's no more a belief in it, and it's just like I miss that part. Like it was nice just believing in something that everyone else around you could believe in and you could relate on. So watching that like dissolve has been kind of weird. Um,
Yeah.
but what's being shown is just unconditional love. Like I think that really is like the underlying energy out of all of this is just like witnessing this unconditional love. Like anything is what, like anything is allowed. All is allowed. Just the body will do and just receive, yourself, receive.
Mm.
But yeah, this unconditional love is so unknowable. It's so not what they teach love is. It's so different. It's so it's so like torn open, like as if like your heart is beating outside of your chest, like in the open air. Like that's what this unconditional love is, because it's everything, and it's everything's being allowed within it. And that's so much pain. There's so much pain, Suzanne. Like that is so much pain. Like it's an ungodly amount of pain. Like not even on my part, just being a witness to what is like
Yeah. That's like that's so beautifully said. Everything.
thanks. I appreciate that, Suzanne. I think thank y'all like for giving me a space. It's like I just don't I don't really have any other space to like talk about it, I guess. I tried to find like people who think like me in my little town, in my city, and like I can't find anyone. I'm like, fuck, this is so weird. Um, yeah. And like in a way, it's like I kind of don't want to talk about it with my friends as much, like as I maybe thought I might have wanted to once I like awakened. Because it's like you said, it's like it takes just about everything. And you want your friend to feel better, but then like do you want them to actually like, because you don't know if they'll be able to handle that, you know? So it's yeah, it's lonely because there's no like you don't know where to share it or where to put it. Um, I just write a lot at work because I'm in an office space, and like there's a lot of the times there's just nothing going on, so I'll just like write and write and write because it's the only thing I can do to just like put it somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
All that's empty too. Like I would try to like go and read them back and like feel something like it doesn't mean anything. It's like you're not special. Like I'm just like trying to tell myself like you're not special. Like it's not special, you know? Um, yeah.
It's really beautiful to document it though. Like
Yeah.
once it's written, it doesn't really resonate so much anymore because it's past, but yeah, it's nice to express that way.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think so too. It's a kind way, yeah, to just be a witness to it. And like, yeah, but you're right. So much oftentimes though things are as I lose, it's ebbs and flows. But as I lose, it gets lighter, and then as I lose, it gets lighter. Um, yeah, but super freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one of the hardest things about this is that it is so lonely because it's really rare that people go through this and that will actually understand what you're saying. So yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things. And that it makes sense that your friends, once believed in something and you once believed in that and you related to them in that way and you could bond in that way, but now it makes no sense to you, really.
Mm-mm. Yeah, and it's like so sad to see like the emptying out of others too. Like you said, like the ones you love, especially the ones you didn't have a problem with, because like you were great. Like you don't need to be empty. Like, oh my God. Come on, girl. So that's kind of a hard thing too. I'm like, fuck. That's my bestie boo. She gone. But like I obviously naturally will keep people who are meant to stick, but yeah, it's strange. It's just less of a relating to. But then it's beautiful because you get to like actually the people that you love and care about, you get to like rediscover them in this really strange way. So that's kind of pretty. Like that, I like that part. But then also you immediately start feeling like a parent because you can already just see like the child wound like so clearly and immediately. And if I care about them, I feel like that I have this like parent tendency to like just focus on that pattern and focus on that how they're acting. I don't know, but um yeah, that's been hard too, just like the emptying out of everyone and everything. But like my response, but that's changing my behavior because like my responsibility to others has just diminished. Like I don't feel as if I owe anyone. anything, like not a single person. Like it's already this. If I want to go and do something good, I'll do it. But I right now it's not happening, you know? Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So it's quite empty. Like I told you, like it just feels like I've been kind of like in a way playing pretend, kind of like just doing all of these things. And like y'all don't get me wrong, I'm still seeking. I'm still living it up. Like I go out, like that's not going away, but it's just different now. It's like I do it because like I'm in this city alone and there's literally nothing else to do, you know, because I don't know anyone. But yeah, and maybe that'll pass as time continues. But yeah, it's just ugh. But also, yay, I don't
I
know.
know. I know. That's
Yeah.
exactly how I felt too. I'm like, this is horrible. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Like you actually feel psychotic, like a split brain syndrome or some shit. Like I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, it's been yeah, super, super eye-opening and um yeah, I just didn't think that was it was you were able to like I just didn't think so much was allowed in one space. Like that never was possible, but now it is, and it's like holy shit. It's never been separate. Like it's never been separate. Not the pain, not the shame, not the trauma. Like that is what makes this. And it's not like and I think that is what's so horrifying about it because a lot of like culture here, like I've learned like in therapy culture and like love, self-love culture, it's like love yourself. If the negative feelings about yourself come up, you need to like diminish them and get a new perspective and all of these things. But now it's like, no, like that can actually stay or be. There's actually nothing to get away from there. Like that is wholeness. And as bad as it says, like that is you. Like not you, but like the here, you know, that's
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the worst part about it because I don't always like thinking that.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so gorgeously said because it is like you become not as averse to the negativity because before you were really desperately trying to push it away, but now it's like, no, it's all of it. It's all of it. It's all of it.
And
And
like it's like a harmony, like the good and the bad together, it creates this new feeling, like a harmony sound, but you can't describe it. I don't know what it is.
well, it's really nice.
Um, yeah, but yeah, yeah, I like I said, it's been about like 6 months, 7 months now. And this space has been so cool. Like I've really just have got so many insights from just this. I was looking forward to this for a while, like all week. I'm like, I'm excited to talk, and then like yeah, it's empty. So I guess that's my time. I appreciate you, Suzanne. Thank you for
Oh no,
listening.
I'm so glad you talked. It's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
of course, of course. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Oh, you're so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that age doesn't matter, but you're so young. It's so cool. I think that's one of the bigger things that was kind of like an unlearning because I was on the spiritual path for so long that there was a tendency to think that the negative stuff was bad. And there's always like an agenda, like, get rid of it. It's possible to get rid of it. And so even when they say it's about acceptance and, loving that, it's still about getting rid of it. So, you have this underlying feeling that it'll go. I'm going to get rid of it or it's going to be gone. But it was the breaking apart of all of that. It was like, shit, it's no, it's not going to go. I'm not in charge of it. I can't predict. I can't control thoughts. I can't control feelings. I can't, it's not up to me. And it was such a relief that it wasn't my fault. I wasn't in charge of it. It didn't define me. Um, and yeah, it did simultaneously, diminish the hope in a better tomorrow, which is all imaginary. And in that, it felt horrible. But you just come back to reality. Like, this is it. Whatever is here is it. Whoever told you that it could be different, they're in an illusion, which is fine. But you can't believe that stuff anymore. It's not true anymore. It's not the lived experience. You can't manage and manipulate and control. Yeah. And like you just said, it's like the body has gone through so much and it's been through it's had so much pressure that now it's just trying to mend itself, it's like feeling through all of the trauma and the twistedness and the complication and the confusion and it's just allowed to be finally finally.
I think that might bleed into like what you were saying about it being just enough. Because of so like all the things that you felt, it's like, okay, like the nervous system, like it's enough.
Yeah. And like you said, there's kind of an appreciation. It's finally seen like what it's been through and how much it actually takes to do the basics and to breathe and to pump the heart and to walk and to it's just seen like fuck, it's a lot. It's doing a lot. And to think and to feel, oh my God, it's a lot. It's amazing.
There's just like this little body here that's dedicated to this, that's already happening. There's nothing you need to do, but it is so much energy. But it's beautiful to think like out here, there's already something so catered to this. That's like the love in it.
So cater to this. What do you mean by that?
Like just so catered to living like this each little life, your
Oh,
life,
I
my life,
see.
breathing, the it's just so in a way personal and not that's the love in it though. Like the body is working for you for this here.
Mm. Oh, that's really beautiful. Yeah. I think I saw that in a different way. Like, um, it was really, really clear to me, like whatever the body needs, it will get. You don't have to like energetically muster it up or worry about it or um all of these ways that you try to get safety. It's just it was seen like, oh, it's not necessary. The body will get food if it's hungry. It will work if it needs money. If it will feel this fear if something's happening, if someone's abusive, like it will say no. It will do all the things. And I never needed to like, yeah, try to really control it and mentally keep it.
Hmm. Beautiful. Yeah.
And it's such a subtle thing, you know? It's like if I said that to a normal person, they would probably just be like, a duh. But when you see it for yourself, like really, really see it, that it's all built in already.
There's no ownership.
Yeah.
Automatic, unconditional love. That shit crazy at times.
Yeah, yeah. That is super messy. Um, yeah, you finally embrace the craziness, I guess. All right, thanks so much. Hey, Clee.
Morning.
Good to see you. How
I
you
really
doing?
really love these conversations with like people of different ages. Like, not that age matters, but it's like I don't know. It's almost like it makes me think like I have let go of things. Like I already have just naturally let go of things. Like I don't go out partying anymore. I like someone went through town and said, "Oh, live music," and I said to my husband, "That sounds nice. It starts at 9 o'clock." Not happening. Zero chance that I'm going out.
Yeah.
And like 10 years, like I'm leaving the house at 11 o'clock at night to go out and party. Like, but that's dropped by itself. That wasn't a choice. There was no thought in that. That was just that's happened without being on the obvious spiritual path journey of waking up, you know? It's really interesting seeing the things that fall away at different stages, ages,
Yeah.
and that they're no really like it feels different, but it's not. It's just a thing
Mm.
that feels or something. It's kind of nice to think of that. Like it's every everything is already falling away before I even tried to make it fall away. Before there was a consciousness of things falling away in this way. Felt slower, granted, but I'm not as destructive and painful, perhaps, but still.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. You do see more clear that things already happen. And then it's the oh, this happened and this happened. And it's like it already happened. It's prior.
It's true. Just find it so funny. Every time I come to a call, I'm like, oh, I realized this. Like it feels new and fresh and like, oh, like a breath of fresh air every time. Even if it's like, even if the words I say could even be exactly the same, but it feels more or less of something. Like I feel it in a new way. It's opened up in a new way. Like the topic of shame has been so big for a few months now, and it like just keeps deepening, just keeps opening, just keeps being like more emptying, more pain. Like, is it ever going to be over? And then realizing that is it ever going to be over is also a piece of the pain. Like
Beautiful.
all this development, the spiritual, like accept everything. Like, oh, I can't. Well, you really should. No. Like as soon as someone says any of that, there's just a can't listen to you anymore. There's zero space or energy or tolerance for anything that isn't just okay, yes. Even like the energy of that, it's not about what's said even. It's like, because even we will hear at some point say it's this, but then we'll all go, it's not always that. But like there's an energy that's like, it's not. Yeah. There's always an unknown everything else. And then I don't know, I speak to people sometimes who talk about other teachers, and I'm like, there's an energy of righteousness or knowing, or it's this way. I know this I've almost stopped so much more stopped trusting words. Words are just so meaningless, empty. And it's the felt sense of someone or something that's just way more tangible.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it's like the body mind doesn't want to make decisions, because it almost feels like I'm saying it and it's personal, but actually it's what's actually happening is just the body mind isn't taking words so seriously, and it can feel things more, which, as I say it, is fun, cool, because I took words so seriously, because my mum would say one thing and I would feel another, but I could see that I was supposed to take her words seriously. In life, we're supposed to take people's words seriously and not do as I say, not what I do. It's like, I was told that a lot, I think. And I even studied linguistics. I thought language is very important. And it's interesting, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, nice.
I had yet another right on cue, another breakdown yesterday.
Hmm.
And every time they just like, they open up more. I don't know what to call them. Breakdown feels negative in some way. Like breaking open, maybe. And it feels like there's a almost like a relearning to trust. The body mind wants to trust itself, and it hasn't for so long. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, always look, I feel a lot, or like there's a suppression, and then we're going like, okay, what do I do? Can someone tell me what to do? And then they tell me, and I'm like, yeah, but I can't, because it's actually energy, it's actually emotion, and the words mean nothing. Oh crap! It's like reaching and then coming back there, and then it just spills out and spills over, and there's no control. It's just the more pressure builds, and then it's so weird when I really let it go, and I feel like it's weird, and really it's not weird, but I have to call it weird, because I guess I feel still some shame around it or whatever. But like, crying, I feel shame around crying. I'm feeling sad, angry.
Yeah. I think you see how deeply ingrained it actually is. Like how much we have been changed for sadness and anger.
So much. And then when I'm on my bed and I'm crying, and I'm like just noticing how like my body wants to shake or move or like curl up, and then I have words coming out my mouth like, no, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. I'm like, what? Don't want to what? I don't know. but I don't want to. Please don't, please don't, please don't. Go away, go away, go away. And like these commands are just like coming out of my mouth.
Hmm.
And kind of it's kind of scary and relieving at the same time. What if someone sees me?
Hmm.
What, what if? And like it's just like seeing this in myself and then seeing in other people, like you were saying, like it's gross. Like sometimes it just looks ugh. It's ugh here and it's ugh over there and it's just everywhere and everything is based on this ugh and this shame. Like every when you go down to the roots, like anger, or this or that, and then you go down, it's like no, it's this. It's always this.
What do you mean it's always this?
I can see looking back through my life that, especially through the therapy and personal development, and always trying to analyze what is my problem so I can fix it. And it's always been the problem is that I believe there is a problem with me. It's the shame. It's I am wrong. I am bad. The problem, if there is one, which there isn't, is that I believe I am a problem. I believe there is a problem and that problem is me. And that bind and that tightness,
Hmm.
that's what causes the and the more I see it, and the more I see it, and so like almost every month, like there's no control. I cannot do anything about it. And I'm so tired of trying. I'm so tired. I just keep reaching new levels of exhaustion. Just when I think I'm exhausted of it enough, it happens again. I'm like, I'm even more exhausted. I don't understand. Like, sorry, I forgot his name. Ramak. I like this with the rich people or people who build a lot. I'm like, how? Like, I barely have the energy to make it through the day. Like, I find that hard. Like, how are people making decisions and responsibilities of like the weight of lives on them? Like, and then there's almost like a compassion there because you were talking. I was like, gosh, like the level of blindness and repression to be able to find and create that much energy to push that much.
Yeah. And it's never going to be enough. I think the shame is like a huge part of this because it does make you question over and over and over. It's like, why can't I just be sad? If I'm sad, why can't I just be sad? Why do I have to punish myself? Why do I have to criticize and judge and wish it otherwise? And Not that you're doing it, but it's like a societal conditioning, you know. You're just not good enough if you're crying or angry, and or you're not there, or you're not spiritual enough, or like whatever it is, you know. You're just made to feel bad. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. It's like then it's like no wonder everyone's suppressing. No wonder everyone never feels safe enough.
Even people that there's a wanting to find people to feel safe with. It's safe to feel with you. It's safe to express. It's safe to just be here. It just makes me so mad. And some of those people, spiritual people, okay, I don't know, someone, a friend, someone I know wrote something on Facebook the other day, and I posted and I commented on it and said something that was on my heart, something that was just there and I was going through. And then she wrote another post saying, lovingly, if people could keep their own icky feelings to themselves and not put them on my post and comments. And I was like, are you for real? Like, and she's beautiful and she's the most woo person I like, one of the most beautiful woo people I know, and like shaman, good, and moves around the world and beautiful. And I thought, oh, it, I don't care about your crystals and your feathers. You're literally shaming me for being honest because it's going to impact your Akashic records. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there is so much out there that will make you feel so bad. I mean, the idea of negative energy, it's like that's just a made up belief, but people live by it. Like it's their whole lifestyle, you know, it's the way that they live, it's their whole belief system, and it will dictate how they treat themselves, how they treat you, how they view the world. It's, yeah.
And then there's the levels of consciousness, which is a real
Oh, yeah.
sticking point for spirit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a little bullocks and bullshit.
I had a friend told me that I'd just gone up the scale to acceptance. I was like, you've got no idea what you're talking about. I appreciate that you're trying to say something nice, maybe, but like, no, 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 you
Yeah,
never
all of
win.
that's,
Never.
yeah, it's just not necessary. In a way that will never end. And yeah, you're still stuck in a lost reality, a made up reality, you know. I think you're kind of beautifully pointing out um how much suffering the spiritual path actually produces. Like when you go through this, you see that most of the suffering is everything that you learned on the spiritual path. It comes to the forefront to shame you and to make you feel guilty about just purely being. purely being sad, purely being angry or agitated. Like somehow it's wrong because of something you've heard. And it's all nonsense. All of it is made up.
So odd how it seems like this path is kind of like coming back to the self, not the personal self, but it is the personal self. It's like what's really happening under there. Not I'm happy because I had a nice meal. No, like what's actually really there. What's just there. What's just so it's really intimate and really personal and completely impersonal because none of it's chosen.
Yeah, it's very raw and intimate and unavoidable. And
It's easy to see why like this specialness thing happens. Me here, intimate special. Even those energies, like when I feel myself in a conversation with a friend, fighting to be special in some way. It, it gives me an ick. It gives myself I give myself the ick. Like, ooh, I don't like it. And I kind of backtrack or I'll just say, hey, I think I said that because I was trying to feel better. But like that's not it. I don't like that. I'm sorry.
mm,
Which feels so nice. Feels so
yeah,
nice to fess up, but it's not a confession. It's like, no, this is just what happened.
yeah, it's just being honest.
So nice.
Mhm.
Needing to know, approve. So much energy goes into those mechanisms. So much energy.
Yeah,
And they layer on each other. They layer and layer and layer. I need to know that to be better for that person. I should read that book. Well, if I'm going to read that book, then I need to read that book. Well, I might go as well. It's just it saves so much energy to just go, huh, that thing's happening. It doesn't have to. Okay, cool.
yeah. It's nice to see over and over that there's never been an answer. There's never been a fix, and you are actually okay the way you are. It's just nice to get some overall understanding of, yeah, why it's okay to just be as you are. It's like undoing all of the nonsense of the past, everything that you've accumulated, that it should be other than this.
It's so funny. A really sticky, something that feels really sticky for me is seeing bad things that are happening around the world, wars or whatever. I immediately go whoop, back into, oh, but it shouldn't. Oh, but it's sad. Oh, like that's a space where I seem to not be able to go, oh, it's just what's happening. Like, but it shouldn't. Like they just, and that's so sticky and painful. So much
Yeah.
guilt comes up around.
Guilt about what?
It's silly because I'm not doing it, right? I feel responsible somehow that I should do something. You know, you've got to take action. All the stories about you have to take action. If you see something and you feel it, you should go and do something about it.
Yeah. Not necessarily. Sometimes it can happen, but can't go around fixing the world.
It feels it feels almost heartless to say, it's just what's happening.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing something if you feel um, strongly about something, but the world will always be a mess. Everything will always be a mess. I mean, that is what you um, can see clearly now. It's like everyone's so deeply wounded, and they're how can the world not be a mess with that, you know?
And there's something about it, seeing it on TV or on social media. It's like I feel about it, but it's over there. Like there's this disconnect. It's not in front of me. It's not like this confusion about the world. It feels unnatural or something. Like if someone was in front of me, I would do something, but they're not. That urge, that very natural anger being a action based emotion often, or a boundary that like, yeah, I feel that creates okay, so I feel it, but I can't step out my house and do something. There's nowhere to physically put that action energy. It feels weird. It feels weird to be caught up in things that aren't here in front of me.
Yeah. Because in a way, it's not really your reality. Yeah. And there can be a lot of residual energy of like, you know, I should help, I should do something, it's my responsibility. All of that sort of sense can still be there and kind of attach itself to different things. It's okay. It's just showing you, you know. Because that sense of responsibility goes really deep. It's very strong.
It almost feels like wrapped up in that shame. Like it's that deep, it's that strong. I shouldn't be feeling this. Often parental stuff, very, very tiny. You don't like me feeling that, so I'm not going to feel that. Okay, now it's my responsibility to do things to make sure that you're okay. It's so bound together, maybe. It feels that way.
Yeah.
Sitting quietly is really makes my brain do things. Say something clever. Wait, no, say something interesting. Don't say anything. You should be quiet and be still. Go on, quiet, be quiet and be still. Are you doing that right? No, because but then like there's small moments of just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's always so sweet to hear everything so honestly. It's very refreshing. Yeah, that's how simple life is. Just what's here. Doesn't matter what it is. I appreciate you, Klee.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening.
Mhm.